Welcome to Visionaries Global Media, your number one source for podcasting entertainment. Visionaries Global Media, envisioning excellence on a global scale.
Hey, Dees, you know what you don't get enough of these days? You know, like pins, but in wrestling form.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Actually, I know the place. Wrestlingpins.bigcartel.com. Have you heard of them?
Wrestlingpins.bigcartel.com.
Wrestlingpins.bigcartel.com. Funnily enough, you should mention it because they've got awesome pins like, I don't know if you can see that, The Undertaker, Ultimate Warrior, and the man himself, Hulk Hogan. They do mugs, they do stickers, they do everything, mate. Really high quality. You know, like really affordable, really high quality. Like you say, you don't get stuff like that very often anymore.
No, you don't, do you? And is that
Unique.
the one where you put the promo code IOHPod15 and you get 15% off your order?
I believe it is. That's basically free postage and packing.
Yeah, IOHPod15 for 15% off your order. And I've heard that goes with all of the discounts and stuff they've got on at the same time.
Yeah, and they, as far as I know, they're regularly doing sales, new pins, like pretty much every week. They do giveaways, they do competitions, they do games on their social media, stuff like that.
That's brilliant. So head on over to wrestlingpins.bigcartel.com. That's wrestlingpins.bigcartel.com. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a brand new episode of It's Our House podcast with Faz and Dees. I'm Faz, and that handsome boy over there is Dees. How you doing, buddy?
I am very good, thank you. How are you, mate? Looking forward to this one.
Yes.
Another great guest.
Yes, a fantastic guest we've got today. She's taken the wrestling industry by storm. She's appearing in shows across the world, and she's going to really just keep dominating. It's the fantastic Renee Michelle. Welcome to the show.
Hi, you guys. Thank you for having me. And sorry again. Sorry again for technical difficulty. I was like, I had to say it. It's all my fault.
It's okay. Honestly, we're just so glad that you can come on the show.
Yes. I'm so excited.
It's all right. Yeah, we had Eric Bischoff yesterday as well. So, you know what I mean?
Really?
You're in royalty.
In very good company.
That's good. I like it how he said it all calm and then have like a smirk on his face. You're very good company.
That's what I'm like to say. It's the scouser in me.
Yeah, you are, yeah. Charming.
So, how you doing anyway? How's things?
Things is good. I just got back from Texas not too long ago. I had delayed for like hours.
Ooh.
America flights always gets me.
That's the problem, isn't it? With that type of travel.
It's a big country.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but connection flights, it always gets me.
Yeah, luckily we don't experience any of that over here.
No. I don't like traveling even just for an hour. No, I couldn't do it. I could not live in America.
Yeah, connection flights, they have it out for me. For whatever reason, they have it out for me.
So we'll go.
I had to like...
Signal's going. Very jumpy.
Is it okay now?
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll go straight into the questions. We'll start with an icebreaker, as you've seen them, because we like to get to know a little bit about yourself. So if you could have the power of, talking about planes and travel, if you could have the power of teleportation right now, where would you go and why?
Oh, God, somewhere tropical.
I feel you.
Well, yeah, actually, I wouldn't mind going back to Boracay. It's like a little island, like an hour flight from Manila, from the Philippines.
Oh, yeah.
And that place is beautiful. And then, like anything tropical, anything that have like the beach, the clear blue, water. fresh fruit, fresh food, everything. Like, that's when I get like when I'm glowing, my skin is like glowing even more.
Going back to nature is the best way, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely. We would just go anywhere. We're stuck in the UK. It's just doom and gloom and miserable and grey. I would literally teleport anywhere.
You know what? I actually had fun in the UK. I actually liked the UK. It was really nice.
Yeah.
I had like a really good time in the UK.
We're under lockdown at the moment, so it's not the best.
Yeah, right now, sorry.
That's why we teleport anyway if we had the choice.
Yeah.
Right, so Renee, let's move on to wrestling a bit then. That's what we're all here for. It's what we all love. What were your first memories of wrestling? We've all got our origins stories. So, like, what was it that got you into wrestling? Who were your favorite wrestlers when you first discovered wrestling?
Oh gosh, you know what? Honestly, I'm envious of like others who were like wrestling fans that grew up watching it, when they were little and stuff, because I wish that I was like exposed to it at a very young age.
Mm-hmm.
I wish that I was able to like know more about it, but like I came into wrestling at a very later age in my life.
Okay.
I did not know it was that. Like I did not really know who were the superstars during the time when I came about. I didn't even know who they were. I mean, yeah, like I heard of like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I knew that he was a wrestler, but it was how I knew about him was so because of movies,
Yeah.
So it's like, honestly, I didn't know who was like really Hulk Hogan was, But when I was approached, a lot of people go like, well, who was your favorite wrestler? I'm like, I can't really tell you because I didn't grow up watching wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
I came in like with a blind eye, giving it a chance because I was solely approached. But when I started getting into it, obviously I caught the wrestling bug. And then that's when I started trying to do my homework from there. So and luckily enough, like I was able to meet like some of the, the female legends, like such as Mickie James and Melina and, some of the women from the older, well, I wouldn't say older, they're around my age, so. So luckily I was living in like the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, and Mickie James during the time, she was living 30 minutes from me. So we have gotten in the ring like a few times. So like, honestly, and like, I also like was able to wrestle Melina a few times. Like our last match that we had together was over in Barbados, and they haven't had a match since 1989.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was like really, really long within itself. It's like, I would say like as much as like the girls that I have wrestled like throughout the different countries and different states, like they're all fabulous and great. But I would say one of my matches that I always get nervous about is being in the ring with Mickie. There's something about Mickie and I can't figure it out what it is. I always get nervous. Like I get the jitters, like being in the ring with her because she's so great and she's so chill, down to earth. But it's like having to like watching some of her matches when she was with WWE and on and off with WWE and everything else. And her character as being like the crazy Mickie to like, to the Native American Mickie to, country girl Mickie and everything, like who she is as an individual is phenomenal. And I have nothing but mad respect and love for her.
Yeah. Is that where you're saying, obviously you didn't come into the industry until later on. Is she someone that you kind of idolize now in that sense?
I want to be able to wrestle just like her or just as good as her, like I never want to be the one that's like have like an ego going like, oh, I'm better than everybody else, blah, blah, blah. I think like each and every one of us women bring something very unique and different to the table.
Yeah.
Mickie, like, locking up with her and stuff, like, she looks like a lovely woman. When you get in the ring with Mickie, she's rough. I'm like, oh, But it gotta be, she's a country girl by heart. So it's like, she got those strong country hands.
Yeah. She definitely worked on a farm, hasn't she?
Yes. But And then being in the ring with Melina, man, she got that Latina sass, that fire, you know, and it's like, she hits a lot tougher. She is a lot tougher than she actually looked, but it's like, we both like was able to like have that energy with one another, feed off of one another. We're like, okay, we're both in the ring, we're gonna get it. And people thought that we were killing each other. So but we're so excited. It's like, I don't know, I guess it's like that Latina passion, you know, like
Yeah. It works really well to see it, to be honest.
Yeah.
So then, obviously, you've got into wrestling now, and you were training at Gilberg's Wrestling Academy.
I was 3 months.
3 months.
Oh, is that all?
I was there for 3 months, and then for whatever reason, it shut down.
Oh, okay.
And still to today, I don't really know like the full details of the reason or why.
Yeah.
But then Dan McDevitt, he spotted me and he took me underneath his wing. And before the day, it was known as Bone Breakers, and I think that's where Lita and Mickey, you know, originally came from. And I absolutely love Lita. Like, she was my referee one time, but you know, like watching her matches in the past, I absolutely love. So I would love to be like, you know, like the daredevil, the high flyer type of, you know, a deal. But also I love the fact how the way Mickey wrestles is more like, you know, technical and like animated and everything else. But Dan McDevitt, he took me underneath his wing. Before, back in the past, it was known as Bone Breakers. Now it's known as Maryland Championship Wrestling. And that's where, you know, like a lot of the stars, like from like MCW that they originally came from, a lot of them, you know, some of them went to WWE, some of them went to Ring of Honor, some of them are expanding all over the place.
What was it like then, you know, not being around wrestling for so long, not really experiencing it, but then stepping in the ring for the first time? What was it like?
Well, I mean, you could look at it one or two ways. Like, there's like one side is like, okay, people could side eye you, but like, you don't belong here. You were never a fan. You're just only here because, you know, of your looks and this, that, and the third. And I'm used to it. Like, I get that all my life. What else is new? You want a trophy? Yeah. You know, like, and, you know, but that's the wonderful thing about it. I'm like, okay, well, they don't know too much about my background. They don't know too much about my history.
Yeah.
And that's the wonderful thing about it, because, you know, they kind of eating their words too, because they don't, you know, they think like, oh, because the way I look the way that I do, they think, oh, she's just a model. Like, no, like, I'm a lot older than I actually look. Thank God, genetic. but also on top of that, like, I have a background in martial arts.
Okay.
You know, I've been doing martial arts since the age of 4. Technically, I actually wanted to get into stunts and do acting.
Yeah.
But, you know, and then I grew up with a military household. So that's also plays an effect with that too. So,
you're a badass, is what you're telling us.
I don't consider myself a badass, but it's just like, you know, like if you're around like government and military and that's like what you grew up all your life, and then you came from that lifestyle and then transitioning into like, you know, wrestling, it's like a complete flip of a coin.
Yeah,
absolutely. Was there any pressure for you to follow in your family's footsteps and go down the military route?
You know what, honestly, like, I actually wanted to really like join the Marine or join the Army. Both of my fathers, they were like, absolutely not. We do not want you to do that. So I actually did government contracting.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. So my mother, she did government contracting, and then, you know, you kind of in a way follow your family's footsteps. So starting out, I was really balancing both. So I was going to school, doing government contract and wrestling.
Wow.
Oh, busy woman.
Very busy. More than what we do anyway.
But it's like not many people knew that, you know, what I do that, because all they saw when they saw me and what they see on social media, they go like, oh, she's just a model.
Exactly. That's the problem, isn't it? Especially when it comes to women in wrestling. That's what a lot of people's minds jump to, not realizing the experience and the history that you have, not just in wrestling but outside.
Yeah, like I have a life, you know. I'm like, you guys, like, I have a life besides wrestling, you know. Like, I've done other things. I just really don't. I don't need to put it on social media to like boast and brag or to get validation from others.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
You were saying before about obviously the academy ended, so you then ended up in Japan. How did you find that?
Yes. So how I ended up in Japan, which was really funny, Chiguda Nagayo, you know, she was before in the past, she was the owner of Gaia, who her and Lioness Asuka, they were the infamous tag team partners called the Crush Girls. So Gaia somehow ended up changing and being called Marvelous. So Chigusa, she decided to hold a tryout in New York. I was invited to that tryout, and bear minded, like, you know, I was also like in talks with Stardom as well.
Mm-hmm.
But when I did the tryout, a lot of people there were like talking English, cutting their promo. So I did it in Japanese, and a lot of people did not know that I took Japanese when I was in college.
You've done everything. You've done everything.
So yeah, so it kind of like worked in my favor in a way, you know, because now that I understood what she was trying to say, you know, during the whole tryout and then the conversations that she was having with other Japanese speakers. But you know, it kind of worked in my favor, like especially with the promo. So I was the first one to be trained as a foreigner. I wouldn't even say gaijin because that's kind of like an insult, and I don't think a lot of people would know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But a foreigner that was trained under her.
Wow. What's it like over there? It's always been a place that I want to go to.
I absolutely love it. Like I had the opportunity to like move over there, but of course I fell in love, got married, so things change. But it's definitely my second home. You know, I wouldn't change it for the world. You know, like Chigusa, she calls me her daughter. I call her Pama, which is mama and papa, you know, all together. You know, so we always, you know, we talk all the time, and currently we still do talk. You know, I check up on her, she checks up on me. You know, we talk to each other like online or on, you know, IG Live. We're like, that's my daughter, you know. Like, I absolutely love her. I have nothing but like mad loyalty and respect for that woman, and you know, I'll do anything for her. Except like, you know, leave my husband and leave me. You know, like, you know,
it's close. It's close.
Yeah. You know, she was like, don't have kids yet. Not yet, please. She wants me to come back, you know.
That sounds amazing. Everyone that we've ever spoken to always holds the Japanese and the culture and the other wrestlers that have wrestled with in such high regard. And they all say similar things to you, how they've been accepted, and even though they're technically foreigners from England or from America, and you're always treated like part of the family. And it's just nice to hear. You know, I'd love to go to Japan. I think you would as well, Faz.
Yeah.
Being with Marvelous, she definitely, in the very beginning, she definitely kept it the very Joshi old school like type of lifestyle, because when I first started, you know, it has changed now, but when I first started over there, I was in Chiba, and that's a countryside of nowhere, barely any Wi-Fi, nothing but farmland. And, you know, if you were to look on the documentary of Gaia Girls on YouTube, it's exactly like that. It's just, you know, I was tired, you know, of Asian pear trees, you know, Asian pears, having to eat it constantly, you know, to like slushy little squeeze and everything else. So I am tapped out. Like, but you know, and they were my favorite fruit. And now I'm just like, I can't stand them. But other than that, as far as I know, like when my time was there, it was very strict. You know, like we had a curfew, we had to wake up at a certain time, we had to like eat together, cook together, sleep together, bathe together. You know, everything that we done, it was together. And we had like outfits, like jumper outfits that like represent the company. So you're not like standing out or being different from other, you're all together as one team, kind of, you know, kind of like a soccer team, or if that makes sense. So when you do wrestle in the ring, that's when you're different from others. But when you come into another company or to a place, you all dress the same. When you're leaving, you all dress the same. When you're out into like other promotions or whatever, we all represent and dress like the same, like an actual team, like a family.
Yeah.
So I know like from my end was different, maybe because compared to other girls, because now Marvelous, they moved from Chiba to Funabashi. So Funabashi is more in the city, but when I was like staying in Chiba. I had to take like a 30-minute walk to the train station and then a 2.5 hour train ride to Tokyo.
Wow.
Wow.
So it's like if I wanted, that's kind of like already my day as it is. So
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah. It's like a
it's like,
permanent train ride, isn't it? And plane rides, as you said before.
yeah. So it was like my experience may very well be different from the other girls who came after me.
Yeah.
Because like I said, they never had to deal with like a foreign student before. So when they were dealing with me, that's when they started learning like, okay, like I was more adaptable, and maybe because it's like I grew up in a military household, because wherever that you move, you have to become adaptable.
Yeah.
But for others, like let's just say we had like one girl who never even left the country before, and she had like a breakdown, like, or she, some girls, they couldn't handle the fact that, they can't really communicate to the other girls because they, Japanese is a dominant language and they can't really, it is difficult, or that you're not, you're not around someone that's like yourself, that to be able to have like that connection with. So it's like a different in cultures, a different ideas of like, experiences and lifestyles and mannerism. Like I remember there was one girl, she was much older, and she was like, respect is like, if you're dealing with someone who's very Southern, they're all about respect and this and the third. And I tell her like, no, when you're coming here, you're in their country, you're in their land, you have to follow by their rules, regardless of how you were brought up.
Exactly.
This is, you have to make the change to them, not the other way around.
Yeah.
And like with Marvelous, it's a very family base. There's no like, senpai, carrier, and kohai. It's all together. We already know like who the senpai is. We already know who the carriers is. We already know who the kohai is. It does not need to be implemented and forced down onto that.
Yeah.
But we all treat everyone just as equal or just the same. Like right now, like we have a Kurukara Ren, she's doing the tournament, currently with AEW going, recently just won against Aja Kong. And I remember when her name was actually Kazumi before she became Kurukara Ren. And there's Mio Momono, who, I remember them two girls, they were just starting out and they were just wearing their one piece suit. And it's like, what, I think in wrestling for girls who are starting out, and even for guys who are starting out, I think that's a good idea, because it's just a blank slate. It's like a one piece before you start coming out as a newbie. Like these girls, they get into wrestling, and in Japan, they consider wrestling as a real job compared maybe here in America or maybe in the UK. But over in Japan, like these girls, they drop out of school. They're like 13 or 14 or whatever years old. They get into pro wrestling. They're not allowed to see their parents during the whole their training. So it could be like 9 months to a year. So the day that their parents are see them is the day that they debut.
Wow.
So so what's really interesting is that we don't tell them that, the whole is a work or anything like that. The week that they debuted, because the whole time they're training for months on end and thinking in their head like everything's like, real and stuff. And then the week that they debut, we have that talk with them, and they're just mind blown.
That's insane.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
That's
so it's like, well, the thing is, this is good because it's like, that they're constantly being focused and they're constantly training hard. And even like, with the rules and stuff over in Japan, especially like with Marvelous, I know that we had to get up at a certain time. We had to go to sleep at a certain time. We had, doing everything together. We weren't allowed to smoke. We weren't really allowed to drink. You weren't really allowed to have boyfriends. Well, them, not for me, like me, I'm different. That was their rules. Men were prohibited. It took me about like 2 years to convince Chigusa to have like somewhat of a male division. And now we're in Marvelous, they have one guy that's male that represents Marvelous for the men, and his name is Leo. But it took about 2 years years for me to break that eye, try to like convince her. I'm like, it would be really good to have like, men, not men in the ring with the girls, because the reason why the men and women are separated is to eliminate distractions.
Yeah.
So that, the girls don't get easily distracted, the guys don't get easily distracted, and God forbid if they were dating and then they broke up and then all the the headaches and everything else. So I think that's also a very great idea. That they have it like that, to eliminate distractions. As well as instead of like going around and partying and all that other stuff. Maybe I'm just old, so.
Well, I'll tell you what, you can see the passion. You can see the absolute passion when you talk about it.
Yeah, I had no idea about any of that. A lot of that's quite mind-blowing and eye-opening.
That was marvelous. Now with Stardom, like I said, I was also in talks with them, but when I had to choose between the two, I decided to go with Marvelous solely because not only because of Stardom's popular, but I decided to go with Marvelous because of Chigusa Nagio, who she is, her background, her history. Meiko Satomura was also her protege that, back in the day of Gaia. So you'll see in a documentary, if you ever watch it, you see her a younger version of her, and now, Nagio's second protege is Takumi Iroha. But Chigusa, she's one of the best female Japan wrestlers ever. And when I came back to America and I was speaking with Medusa or Alundra Blaze during the time, she's like, I remember wrestling her so many times over in Japan. Like a lot of the older women who have worked in Japan wrestled Chigusa, and they, she's like, yeah, you chose a really good choice because of who she is.
Yeah. It's as you said, it's a different culture, it's a different way of learning, isn't it? But if anything, it kind of benefited the way you were brought up as well.
Sounds like it was the better choice.
I absolutely love Stardom. I have that love and respect for Stardom, but I felt during a time it was the best and right opportunity and choice for me because I wanted to learn how to be a wrestler, and what better place to learn that from someone who is very old school minded. And when I was training, it was very old school. So to be able to have that experience and then take it all in, it was definitely a mind changer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, Dees, you know what you don't get enough of these days? Pins, but in wrestling form.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Actually, I know of a place, wrestlingpins.bigcartel.com. Have you heard of them?
Wrestlingpins.bigcartel.com.
Wrestlingpins.bigcartel.com. Funnily enough, you should mention it because they've got awesome pins like, I don't know if you can see that, The Undertaker, Ultimate Warrior, and the man himself, Hulk Hogan. They do mugs, they do stickers, they do everything, mate. Really high quality. Really affordable, really high quality. Like you say, you don't get stuff like that very often anymore.
No, you don't, do you? And is that the one where you put the promo code IOHPod15 and you get 15% off your order?
I believe it is. That's basically free postage and packing.
Yeah, IOHPod15 for 15% off your order. And I've heard that goes with all of the discounts and stuff they've got on at the same time.
Yeah, and they, as far as I know, they're regularly doing sales, new pins, pretty much every week. They do giveaways, they do competitions, they do games on their social media, stuff like that.
That's brilliant. So head on over to wrestlingpins.bigcartel.com. That's wrestlingpins.bigcartel.com.
Right, let's bring things a little bit more into recent history, into your recent career. Obviously, a lot of fans probably gained the most exposure they've ever had to you via the Mae Young Classic in 2017, where unfortunately you lost in the first round to Candice LeRae.
Yeah.
We won't mention that you lost too many times. What was that experience like, and how was it wrestling somebody? I've done this before where I'm like, oh, remember that time you lost? And I guess it's like, yeah,
Like,
yeah, thanks.
Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
So what was it like wrestling Candice LeRae? Because obviously even at that stage she'd been in the business for such a long time. She doesn't look like she has, she still looks about sort of like mid-20s, but she's been around forever and she's wrestled men and women all over the world. So what was your first taste of the WWE life like?
Oh, honestly, like when I wish that I had more TV experience, because during the time I didn't have any TV. I had Japanese TV experience, but not like TV experience like, like WWE, Impact, Ring of Honor, like the learning of where to move and all the other stuff. So I think that was my, my negative for me. And I'm a critic. So, but being in the ring with Candice, it's like, she's fast and she's strong, So it's like, when I first took her forearms, I'm like, oh, like we're hitting like that. Okay. And having to take her finger, it knocked the wind out of me. It legit knocked the wind out of me. I like part of my soul left my body that day. But I actually had like a lot of fun. Like I wish that I was able to have more experience, just like her. I mean, she has 15 years of experience on me. Of course, I'm gonna get annihilated by this woman. Like, here's me that's like a little smidget of experience, and then here's this woman like coming in with 15. Boom. Like, I'm like, yeah, it's written on the walls. I already know.
She's a little firecracker, isn't she, Candice?
Yeah. She is a firecracker. She sweetest woman, sweet as can be. But the moment that you get in the ring, she'll annihilate you. She may be small, but dynamite. So
yeah, absolutely. Brilliant. Well, moving on from that, then, as you said, you were seen on WWE television a lot more in the 24/7 hijinks alongside your husband, Drake Maverick. How was it working alongside him and featuring regularly on TV and alongside, EC3 and R-Truth and all the hijinks you got up to?
Oh, I'm still not over about my wedding dress. I'm still not over it.
I know. Have you charged them yet? Have you sent the bill?
Man, I keep saying it. I keep voicing it. I sent it. Nothing. I keep getting a paper card saying I owe you. Yeah, like how that came about. It was funny. It was really funny. I did not know the full details, but yeah, Archer, he popped out of nowhere like a phantom in the night and rolled my husband up. And I can't move because there's like lit candles on the side. They're on top of my dress. Brewer, the referee, he's counting, and I'm in panic, and I'm like, why? Of all places, why here? Why now? On my. But having to have that experience dealing with R-Truth and Carmella and my husband, I actually, in a way was very interesting because the looks that I do give my husband are the same looks that I do give him at home. So nothing different. That is our relationship. Like legit, that is our relationship. He's very much of like very animated, funny guy. He makes me laugh, and that what brought my attention, to my husband. Like, when we first met and everything, he's a jokester. Also, he's a gentleman, and he's, have like, a lot of chivalry, and, he's very gentleman-like. He's very smart and witty.
I love him.
But
I think he's brilliant. Honestly, God, I love him.
He's one of my absolute
favorites. But also like at the same token, he's just so damn goofy. So like you can't help but to love them, but at times it's like you just want to shake the shit out of them. So like, I would say like I think like it works out great with the both of us because we're completely two opposite individuals.
Yeah,
You know,
I was thinking that because, as you said, the way you were brought up, you know, your heritage, very strict, and then you've got Drake, who's
complete opposite.
Yeah, the opposite.
Like, you know, it's like, you know, with the thing is like with marriages, it's like, you know, you get married, but you have to deal with what type of crazy that you're willing to deal with for the rest of your life. And like, this is my type of crazy.
Fair enough. Right, so let's move away from WWE for a bit. Obviously, there is this huge divide in the wrestling business at the minute, has been for just over a year now with WWE versus AEW. We've recently seen you make your AEW debut. You wrestled against Shanna. You've had your tag team match against Ivelisse and Diamante as well recently. So what's it been like working for AEW compared to working for WWE? I know you weren't technically with WWE for very long, but are there any major differences between the companies? And also, has there been any negativity on your end, what with you being married to a WWE employee?
Honestly, like I think like a lot of people think there's like some negativity or some backlash because my husband's with WWE and I have wrestled, you know, with WWE Impact and AEW. There's none. Like it wouldn't matter if you were like, let's just say for a prime example, if I was working for Booz Allen Hamilton and someone was working for Lockheed Martin, yet we're married, but we're working for two different competitor companies. It's kind of silly to think that, oh, there's going to be like some type of like huge issue because two married individuals working like companies of enemies of a company are, it's like, it's kind of silly. They're non-existent.
Trust me, it's the wrestling community thrives.
It's Twitter.
On
it's Twitter. It's the internet. It was the same with Lana and Rusev. It was the same with Rusev, Renee and Moxley.
And Britt Baker. Yes, you know, like we're at home and we're still acting like everyday normal husband and wives, you know.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, it's a work, a job, you know.
Yeah, so you've heard it here first, people. Stop it. Stop the drama.
Yeah.
Leave it at the door.
Like,
stop the divide.
If you're looking for drama, you're not going to find it. I'm sorry. But you could be creative.
Look somewhere else.
You need to. Whatever floats your boat.
Obviously, you know, as Chris said there, and as you've mentioned, you've wrestled with some of the biggest names in the industry. What are your career highlights in just such a short time?
Oh, career highlights in such a short time, like who I wrestled?
Yeah, like what? Like afterwards, you were like, I can't believe that I've just done that.
Oh, when I had I would say, there's so many. Well, I never thought I'd ever like get in a ring with Mickie James. I never thought I would actually be able to wrestle Melina. I, you know, meeting the girls, you know, at the ladies, you know, at WWE in the main roster, like Natty, I absolutely have mad respect and love for, and a bunch, you know, as well as like with Sasha and all those girls. They're really cool. They're really down to earth. They're very welcoming. You know, when I came around,
yeah,
you know, it wasn't like that whole like, who is she? You know, like, you know, type of ordeal. You know, it was like. I mean, like compared to like AEW Impact and WWE, like everyone's chill. You know, I didn't really have like too much of a bad experience. I'm gonna go where the money takes me. You know, like I'm up for pay. You know, like if we're talking about money, I'm interested. You know, but you know, and also like being able to also like go over to India and wrestle for the Great Khali for his promotion over there. I remember, I think he had about like $75,000, $80,000, 75 to 80,000 fans.
Wow.
And the way it was set up was like a WrestleMania. And that was really cool and awesome as well. And then, you know, I do want to be able to have more experience traveling around the world. I do like to travel, especially like I want to get that out of my system if I ever wanted to have little ones in the future. You know, just to say like I've been there, you know, done that.
Yeah.
You know, but as far as like I personally say that I still feel unsatisfied because I always feel like I have a lot to learn.
Yeah.
And I would never truly ever feel satisfied with that.
Yeah.
But I think that, you know, with me being like 7 or 8 years, I was injured. I was definitely injured for like 1 year. But to be able to like, how can I say this? Is that how many people can possibly say that they're doing a job that they actually love, you know, versus doing a job that they have to?
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I would say because of this wrestling, you know, it definitely gives me an outlet to not only travel, but to meet unique different individuals who have different backgrounds, different stories, and different upbringings, and, you know, I guess making new friends along the way.
Like us.
Friends are fun.
Hello.
Like
Yeah.
us.
You know, and because of it, like wrestling, like it doesn't owe me anything. But, you know, one thing it did provide for me was a husband. I was able to find a husband.
Yeah.
You know, and I found the love of my life. So.
And he's a legend. Legend.
Yes.
Absolutely. He's literally from down the road from me. I live in Coventry, and obviously he's originally from Birmingham, so not too far at all. I've seen him quite a few times wrestle in the UK, so I was thrilled to see him in WWE, and even more thrilled to see you join him. I loved everything you guys did with the 24/7 title. It was hilarious, and I've not really enjoyed it since.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so
Really?
much. Yeah, like
Honestly.
thank you guys. No, it was like, yeah, he dragged me all over the damn place with that belt. Like I could not get a break from it. Like we even went to Universal Studios and he had that damn thing. Like like Disney, Universal Studios, dinner.
You didn't need to have children. You already had a child there.
Me having a child, like I already have a man child right here. And then, you know, my mother, she asked me like, when are you gonna give me grandchildren? I'm like, I can't give you grandchildren, but you can have some grand cats. You're like at this point in my life, I'm unable to. Like, I have too much going on. Like I have a husband that's running all over the place, and I have cats.
I love it.
Right.
My house is full right now.
No more room. No room at all. Kids take up a lot of room. Me and Faz can both vouch for that. We both got a couple of kids each. Yeah. Right.
I think it would definitely be the strict one, but like with my husband, I think like with him, he'll be the one that's like giving candy to the side, don't tell your mother. And I'm like, heck, you know?
That's me. I'm the fun one.
Yeah.
Fun parent. I'm going to bring this back around to what we did at the start when we asked you the icebreaker to get to know you a bit. So now we're going to do, I think you'll only be the second person we've done this with, maybe the third person. It's going to be our quick fire round. So just 10 or 11 quick questions. First thing that comes to your mind. There's nothing too, I don't think there's anything embarrassing in there. I'm just looking at them now. Maybe one, but just go with the first thing that you think of. If it's funny, we will laugh at you, but that's fine. So
I'm in trouble.
So I'm going to kick things off with what is your most used emoji?
Kiss.
Celebrity crush.
Ooh. Leonardo DiCaprio.
Ooh.
Solid choice. Okay, I know we sort of covered this before, but what's your favorite decade of wrestling? Now that you've got into wrestling more and you know a bit more about the history, what's your favorite decade or period of wrestling?
The Divas era.
Yep, good
I
choice.
think yeah.
No, that's a good answer. Yeah.
At the gym or home chilling?
CrossFit.
I like it.
If you could only have 3 apps on your phone, what apps would they be?
Ooh. IG, music, YouTube.
Nice. What's your party trick?
With my what?
Your party trick.
My party trick?
Yeah. So like if you're in like a crowd of people.
Hidden talent.
Yeah, your hidden talent.
My hidden talent? I'm an actor shooter.
Nice.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
If
If you could have only one superpower, what would be your superpower?
Kind of like Medusa, kind of like just stare at the person if I don't like them, and then they just burst into dust.
I like it. Yeah, the Thanos.
Useful. Very useful.
I like it. Stone Cold or The Rock?
Ooh. I like them. They're equal.
You can't. You gotta pick
you know,
one.
No.
You gotta pick one.
You know what? You got to. You know, I'm gonna go with The Rock because
Yes.
I'm gonna go with The Rock because I don't know if Stone Cold's gonna be a little bit too crazy.
Yes. Every week, dudes.
Every week. Okay. Do you prefer to binge watch a TV series or weekly episodes?
TV series.
Yeah.
And what's your favorite Disney character?
Jessica Rabbit.
Oh, good choice.
Didn't expect that choice. Good choice.
Yep, that's it. See?
Brilliant.
Quick, easy, simple.
Yeah. Nothing too bad in there.
Thank you for doing that, Renee.
Huh? I was saying, I think like not too many people realize that Jessica Rabbit is a Disney character.
No, they don't.
Or they forgot.
Yes.
But that's the I guess like because like what's funny because it's like I guess because I'm rocking the ginger hair a bit. Yeah. So my husband Honey Bunny, so he's like my little Roger Rabbit.
Oh, I like that. We can clip that one, Deez. We'll put that on Twitter.
That's going to embarrass him. That's going to embarrass him a bit, isn't it? On the internet.
And before you leave, it's a question that we like to ask all our guests. Really, is what's next for Renee?
What's next? Well, I guess you'll never know. Like I always tell everybody that I never really tell exactly what I'm going to do next. You know, I like to leave as a surprise. But tomorrow you will catch me going against Abaddon at AEW. So pray for me.
Yes, we will. That'll be on the 2nd of March for everyone watching this video. So either go back and check it on YouTube or just give it a watch wherever you can.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to that.
Excellent. So Renee, before you leave, so do you want to plug any social media, give shout outs to, point people in your direction?
Find you.
Yes, of course. You can find me on Instagram, which is Lady RM, as well as you can find me on Twitter, which is Renee Michelle.
Excellent. And you can find me at Faz's Thoughts. That's FAZZAS Thoughts. And you, Deez?
At PWCDs and at It's Our House Pod everywhere. Everywhere that you can find a podcast, we are there.
Yes, excellent. So Renee, thank you so much for coming on, and you have a lovely rest of your week, and trust us, we shall be watching your career very, very closely.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Renee.
And now away from our sponsors. Hey, Deez, you know what you don't get enough of these days? You know, like pins, but in wrestling form.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Actually, I know the place. Wrestlingpins.bigcartel.com. Have you heard of them?
Wrestlingpins.bigcartel.com.
Wrestlingpins.bigcartel.com. Funnily enough, you should mention it because they've got awesome pins like, I don't know if you can see that, The Undertaker, Ultimate Warrior, and the man himself, Hulk Hogan. They do mugs, they do stickers, they do everything, mate. Really high quality. Like really affordable, really high quality. Like you say, you don't get stuff like that very often anymore.
No, you don't, do you? And is that the one where you put the promo code IOHPod15 and you get 15% off your order?
I believe it is. That's basically free postage and packing.
Yeah, IOHPod15 for 15% off your order. And I've heard that goes with all of the discounts and stuff they've got on at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, and they, as far as I know, they're regularly doing sales, new pins, like pretty much every week. They do giveaways, they do competitions, they do games on their social media, stuff like that.
That's brilliant. So head on
Loads
over
going on.
to wrestleandpins.bigcartel.com. That's wrestleandpins.bigcartel.com.